How to make a showroom style DIY mirror and table. Hey guys, Uniqueness Essentials here. For today's video, I'm going to be making a showroom style DIY mirror and table to match. It's going to be like a set. I'm going to be starting off with mirrors that I got from the Dollar Tree and gluing them on foam boards. I'm going to double the foam boards just to make it thick enough for the mirrors. I'm using 12 single pieces of mirrors from the Dollar Tree because I did not have a whole mirror of the size that I want for the project. I'll be gluing another 2 together. And then when I'm done, I'm going to be having all 4 foam boards attached to one another with duct tape. If you're new to my channel, it's so great to have you here. Now don't forget to click on the subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my latest videos. I placed the mirrors on top of what I just made to see if the size of the foam board that I have is okay, but it's slightly big, so I'm going to be reducing the size to fit the exact measurement for all the mirrors. When I was done, I went ahead to glue on all of the mirrors to the foam boards. I'm going to keep that aside and then take wood that I've had at home, and I'm going to be adding other pieces of wood together to give me the size that I'll be using for this project. I'll be using duct tape to hold the wood pieces together, and I'm also going to be using a piece of wood. It's going to be at the back that's going to hold all of the wood pieces together. Like I said, these were pieces of wood that I already had at home and they are thin. So that's why I'm going to be having another piece at the back to hold them together. So if you have a very thick wood that is according to the measurements that you want to use for the project, you don't need to go through all this. I'm doing all this because I have thin wood pieces and they're all separated that needs to be joined together. The color scheme for my project is going to be white. So because of that, I'm going to be using white duct tape around the edges so that at the end of the day, I don't have wood edges showing when the project is done. I'll be using 3D wall panels for my design, and boy, do I love these panels. They can transform the look of anything from drab to fab. I will leave a link for a whole box of this down in the description box below. And you can do a lot of things with these 3D wall panels. I'm going to be using them for this project, and I still have some pieces left for other projects. This is how I'm going to be arranging the pieces and then carving out the part where the mirror is going to be in the middle. I traced out the shape of the mirror that I just made on the foam boards on these 3D panels. And this is where I have so far. I used a pencil to mark where I'm gonna be cutting. And I just used a pair of scissors to make my cuts. I also drew a line at the bottom here that I'm gonna be cutting because it's a little bit long. You should know that the size of the mirror that you're gonna be using for this project is what will determine how far or how wide you're gonna be cutting the middle. I'll be attaching the wall panel pieces to the piece of wood that I had covered with duct tape all around the edges with a strong adhesive. And I'm applying this adhesive on all of the parts that are going to be touching the wood. When I was done with that, I then went ahead to attach the mirrors that I had glued to the foam boards onto the middle. Because of the design that's on the 3D panels, after having the mirror in the middle, I can see some open spaces. So I'm going to be covering the edges of the mirror with masking tape before I then cover up those open spaces with caulk. To clean off the excess caulk, I'm using a damp paper towel. You can also use wet foam if you have one. Now you should know that with this caulk, you can never use something that's dry. You always have to use something that's wet to avoid having rough edges and rough surfaces when it's dry. Because what I just made is quite large, I'm going to be mounting it with a wire. I'm going to need something to match this lovely mirror, so I'm going to be making a table that's going to go with the mirror. This is the table that I want to use, and I've had this for a while, but it's kind of low. After measuring the 3D panels on it as a door, now because it's low, I added hard fabric cardboard and wood to elevate the height, and the sides will be covered with wood and the back is going to be covered with a board. I glued down the fabric cardboard to the table and also glued the wood that's on top of it, and then used duct tape to hold them all together to keep everything aligned. And because I'm working on a white color scheme here, I'll be using white contact paper for the sides. I'm going to be making doors for this table using utility hinges to hold a wooden door. This is how I attached the hinges to the legs of the table. And now I'm going to be attaching the wood to the hinges. I'm going to use this at the bottom to elevate the height just a bit because of the hinges. I'll be using 2 catchwood strike on 2 sides of the board to make it easy to open and close the door. I'll be using 2 3D wall panel pieces for the door, but I will be covering the sides of the wooden door with tape, just like I did for the mirror, before I then glue on the 3D wall panels to the wood. Here's what the table looks like. And it looks so beautiful besides the mirror. I used pieces of mirror from the Dollar Tree because I didn't have a whole straight mirror that's of that size for this project. So if you have a whole mirror for this project, you can go ahead and use that. But I still love the way this one turned out. The glass table that's close to the mirror that's on the wall. It's a DIY project of mine that I just uploaded, and I will leave a link for that down in the description box below for those of you who haven't watched that video. Thank you all so much for watching. I have other home decor DIY videos that are linked in the description box below to check them out, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button.